The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Well, welcome to Alabama Politics. And this week, I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show. You can hear my shows Monday through Friday from 5 to 9 a.m. on WVNN in Huntsville. And then you can hear it from 10 until 11 on Talk 99.5 in Birmingham and on News Radio 1440 a.m. down in Montgomery. And then hear it again 3 to 4 p.m. On the UMP in Huntsville. With me, as always, Mecca Music. She is the CEO of 256today.com. Smart news for smart people, and we are ready for a great show as we move towards this election, which seems like it's been like 10 years in the making, because it basically has been. We got a lot to get into. We got Jeff Porro with us. He is an expert on Alabama politics. We'll talk with him. And I've got a parting shot for you about Jimmy Kimmel and how he and I should both be in jail. So we'll get to that here in just a second. You'll have to stay tuned, Mecca. Let's get to the 2-minute warning. All right, let's talk about early voting. I hate this. I just do. I hate this. I think it is a terrible idea. I think it is done terribly. And John Merrill once told me, he said, after all this stuff we've done with early voting, it has not actually increased turnout very much historically. So we'll see if this year continues this trend. One of the things that we are starting to notice here, at least in some early voting states, and earlier this week I was looking this up, basically North Carolina, Nevada, Florida, Texas, all these other places, you're seeing Republicans buy in on early voting more than they ever have before. But if John Merrill is correct, the former Secretary of State of Alabama, is that it doesn't actually increase turnout on the other side. Maybe that advantage that everyone thinks as of right now Republicans have, maybe that doesn't really exist. In same-day voting, or I guess election day voting, is one that maybe just lead us to believe that we're not going to have more turnout for Republicans. It's just going to kind of be the same. Mecca, then what does all of this mean?
That's my second question. Then what are you saying? Then why are there like a historic number of Republicans early voting in this election if it's not because there's going to be a larger turnout?
Yeah, I think they've just been browbeaten by it. I'm serious. It's there, so why not do it? It doesn't make any sense not to. I was looking up something I had written a couple of years ago about early voting, and one of the reasons I didn't like it is because I had early voted. I forget what the reasoning was. Maybe I was going to Vegas or something. But I was early voting, and I got an amendment that I would have changed my votes on after talking more about it with people.
Really?
Yeah. And so I was like, maybe that's a reason. That's my own focus for being stupid.
Okay.
But what does it mean? Does it actually mean more turnout? John Merrill's argument was, no, it just means more cost for the states, which I thought was an interesting point.
That's a valid point. Obviously, we're not going to get the answer to this question until after the election. Yeah. But I think some people are predicting a larger turnout, historically large.
If you're seeing, I don't think we're going to. Well, it's possible. Yeah, the population's bigger. You have more, so possible you have that. The question really is, are more Republicans going to show up and vote overall? That's what the trend might tell us, or have they just shifted their voting to early voting?
Because it's available.
Right, because it's available. There's, and they've been told more about it, and Donald Trump's bought in now as opposed to being against it.
Right.
So that I think is the question. What does it mean to answer the question? As of right now, it looks like Republicans are in a pretty good spot. But we might learn that that's misleading. So I don't know. Great answer. Great conversation. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about garbage. And this is a pretty interesting situation we're in. There's been 3 instances of garbage being referenced recently in politics. Donald Trump called America the world's garbage can, which I would argue that there's probably a lot to be said about that. Then I guess, opening act for Donald Trump at a rally said that Puerto Rico was a floating island of garbage, and an unfunny comedy bit, an insult comedy bit at a political rally. Why are you doing this? Like, what is the point here? It makes absolutely no sense having that there. And then Joe Biden, well, Kamala Harris is giving a speech at the Ellipse, where, by the way, insurrectionists and Klan members have again rallies from there. And by the rules of politics, that means she's an insurrectionist and a Klan member now. But she was there giving that speech. Joe Biden was squinting into a camera, talking about how Trump supporters are garbage, or there was an apostrophe that we all miss, and he was saying that Tony Hinchcliffe was garbage. But I don't think Joe Biden knows who Tony Hinchcliffe is. So my question for this comment, people are saying it's a big deal. But before we get into that, Who did Joe Biden vote for this year?
Oh, and that's really what is maybe more interesting aspect of this, because she was having her own address, correct?
Yeah, he's in the White House like squinting into a computer. And the reason he was doing that, and I do videos and stuff, these lights are bright, and they wash out all the bags and lines. And if they're doing that for Joe Biden, like 20 lights on them, so he's like squinting. It was just bad. Who did Joe Biden?
But why was that set up like that?
I don't know. I have absolutely. I think it. Look, they're not wanting to bring him out there and use him. That's clear. But I don't think they want to make him mad, because if this is him trying to help, imagine if he's actively out there trying not to help.
So by your question, are you trying to say he's going to vote for Trump?
I think he already did. I think he went in there and maybe it was by accident or something. But I mean, this is, I've tried to figure out how to call this, but I'm calling it the October surprise, because that is that Joe Biden voted for Donald Trump and is actively trying to sabotage. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with it, but I appreciate your take.
Okay, let me ask you this before we move on. How big a deal is this garbage comment?
Right, exactly. So
as the bell already rang, but that's
I know. I'm going to hurry really quick. As far as the garbage comments, I don't think it's damaging really either way. I don't think a Trump supporter is like, oh, well, I was called garbage, so now I'm definitely going to go vote.
I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Okay. I love it when you tell me when I'm wrong.
The Frank Luntz came out and said that the basket of deplorables thing very much energized people who were like, I don't like Trump, I'm going to vote for him. That could possibly do it this time. Also, it kneecapped the Puerto Rican garbage conversation.
Oh, no, absolutely. It definitely did that. But don't you think that people are just nearly not immune to this?
Becca, you're immersed in this. You host a show about it. Not everyone is that way. Okay. So the people who are just now tuning in.
So they're getting that headline.
Yes.
Okay. That's a good point. Okay. That's a good point.
Let's talk about something else happening here in the great state, or something happening here in the great state of Alabama. Let's talk about AL-02. We have Caroline Dobson and Shamari Figures, the Republican versus the Democrat, a new district gerrymandered specifically for a black Democrat. That would be Shamari Figures. He has a leg up in this particular race, and a lot of people think that's probably where this is going to go. At one point, this race was 12 points in Figures' direction. Some of the later poll was 4.6%. If you go back and you look at different races, Katie Britt won this district as currently constituted. Kay Ivey won this district as currently constituted, both Republican women. So maybe we have something there, but there's so much other stuff happening here. And in these districts, a lot of them black belt districts and things like this, it's for Shamari Figures. It's perfectly drawn for him. What happens here? We'll talk with Jeff Porro about this a little later, but what happens?
I am interested to get Jeff's take on this as he's very close. But obviously, like you said, a lot of people are pointing towards this is Figures. It's going to be his victory. He's going to win on this. But it's still, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's not insane that in that Trump supporters in that district turn out in heavy numbers.
Exactly. Yeah. But the other factor is she's a great candidate. She has just proven herself as a great candidate. I would say another thing is, though, Republicans have not spent a lot of money on this race, which also tells you they don't believe that she can win it.
I think it's interesting. You could look at the national race and you can kind of put it on this race. Dobson's out here trying to talk about issues. She's talking about inflation. She's talking about social issues like transgender stuff. There was an ad out this week that they called race baiting and fear mongering, and it took the faces of Shamari Figures and Kamala Harris and put them on top of each other, and basically was like brought up the transgender issue, and they're trying to drive that point. So they're trying to talk those issues, their issues, the social issues and the economic issues. The Figures campaign is basically trying to do the look at Kamala Harris, look at us, look at me, look at you. Look at us, Donald Trump, bad. That's what they're trying to do. And that may work in this particular. I'm not saying that's a bad strategy. But Kamala Harris does not want to get out there and talk issues, and neither does Shamari Figures.
It's true.
There's a comparison to be made there, and we'll see if it works. Talking about Kamala Harris, let's talk about this. Will she do better than Joe Biden did in 2020? If she does, then I think you can look at what's happening here with this race in AL-02 and say, okay, Shamari Figures is in a pretty good spot. Maybe she does better in Alabama because of Shamari Figures being on that ballot. Because you also got to remember a couple of things. In the past, you've had, it's a done deal that that Joe Biden was going to lose the state. And there was no contested congressional district where black voices that could be heard. That's sort of the premise of all of this. So you would think that maybe Kamala Harris does better numbers-wise, because in that particular district, you'll get more people turning out to vote for the Democrat. Does she do better statewide? I don't think so. I think Madison, which has been trending kind of less red, I won't say
Yes.
purple, but less red. I think it goes more red this time. I think that happens. And I think we see a situation where some of the other places that are kind of trending towards purple, they go more red. But in that district, if Shamari Figures wins, and Kamala Harris will definitely do better. She could do better overall. Will she win more counties? I don't think so.
Well,
will she win the same? Probably, with a little bit more votes.
Well, but we know that he did get a bump when Kamala Harris entered the race.
Yeah,
in the
question.
polls, I mean, he did get a bump.
Sure.
You know, it's not a ballot, but it is, you know, a poll. I think he does. I think that race in that district has generated enough interest. I think that bumps up her numbers. But I talked to some Democrats in the last week, Alabama Democrats, who do not believe she's going to do as well as Biden did in
Kamala
2020.
Harris.
Yes.
Okay, so that would, I mean, I'll tell you
And he
what.
had 12 counties, about a little under 850,000 votes in Alabama.
Alabama Democrats traditionally hate Alabama. I don't mean that as they don't like the way they're losing everywhere. So this isn't like some sort of massive thing. So I think they're very pessimistic about things in this. But I think it's going to be hard for her not to at least hold serve, at least in the district she's already won. I do think that some of the red areas go more, but.
So you think it's a break even? She doesn't increase, she doesn't decrease.
I think the bluer areas go bluer, the redder areas go redder, and I think that's what happens. And I think she'll have more votes overall, but if anything, she'll hang on to the same counties, and I think that's probably how that will shake out. All right, we got Jeff Porro coming up here in just a minute. We'll talk about a lot of these things. He has a lot of information about that. And then we'll get into my party shot a little later as well. I'm Dale Jackson, Mecca Music here. It's Alabama Politics This Week.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia, and this is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improved range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
Call 877-744-0750. That's 877-744-0750. 877-744-0750.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by. What if you could make a free phone call and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Right now, you could be paying as high as 20% interest. Your new interest rate could be reduced to as low as 2.48%. You can refinance any existing car loan or leased car and save money every month. Take 5 minutes of your time right now. Make this free phone call and learn how to save hundreds of dollars a year by refinancing your existing car loan.
Well, welcome back to Alabama Politics. This week, I am Dale Jackson. With me, as always, Mecca Music. Our guest this week will be Jeff Porro. He is a talk show host at FM Talk 106.5 down there in Mobile that carries this very program, and we are very appreciative of that. Jeff, let's talk a little bit about what we were just discussing. Kamala Harris doing better in Alabama than Joe Biden did. Is that possible? And my assertion was that, yes, AL-02, you will see more turnout for Shamari Figures, which will lead to more turnout for Kamala Harris. But in other places like Madison and Mobile and Baldwin, I think they go redder than they have in the last couple of election cycles. So maybe it's just a push, but I think she does better in that race, especially if Shamari Figures wins.
Does she get more than Joe Biden got in 2020,
I was getting there, but yes, that's the question.
I don't doubt that. That sounds about right to me. It just depends. You know, the rural community. I am not sure that I haven't really thought about that way, but you're probably right, Dale.
Are people fired up in District 2 for Shamari Figures? I look at the race, and I compared it before to the national race. You got Dobson trying to talk these issues, inflation, transgender issues, this kind of stuff. And you got Figures saying, democracy's on the ballot. Donald Trump, he sure is bad. That kind of stuff. Is that working in that district?
It's nothing. I mean, I think it's probably very, very marginal that's working. That's not why people are going out to show up for Shamari Figures. And I think there's a little bit of a race demographic issue there. I don't know. The campaign that Shamari Figures running is a lot like Kamala Harris's campaign. It's just he's very smooth on the campaign trail, and I think he's a very good politician compared to like a Kamala Harris. But the substance of the campaign, it's Project 2025. It's that Caroline Dobson wants to end Social Security. That's sort of the run of that. And I think the reason a lot of people are voting for him on the Democrat side, it's pretty mixed.
All right, so who wins?
Right now, you got it. It's a D+3 district. Figures probably has the edge, but I think this race is tightened a lot. I think the sort of the momentum going with Trump. I mean, I think a lot of it's dictated what happens on top of the ticket there, and I still would probably lean Figures, but it's breaking Caroline Dobson's way very late.
Are there enough rural areas in this district to swing it towards Caroline Dobson? I mean, it sounds like you think there are, but I just want to get that flushed out here. Are there enough rural districts here to swing it?
It's not so much the rural, I would say, as it is you look at the suburban sort of, I would say not quite suburbs, but more in inner city. Let's say like Spring Hill and Mobile, Cloverdale and Montgomery. There's a lot of purple districts here that probably, and then there would be in your typical congressional district in Alabama. And also, like Pike Road type places, Washington County, and even sort of, you can look at some of the suburbs of the Auburn, Opelika area, Columbus, Georgia. There might be enough there if, Trump has an unbelievable turnout that she would have a punch or shot.
Well, and I want to talk about the Trump turnout, because you hear from some Alabama Democrats who are like, they don't bother voting. They know it's going to go red. They know it's going to be for Trump. Are there Trump voters that are like, oh, he's got it. We know Alabama goes for Trump, and maybe they stay home?
Yeah, I think it's a fair point, especially on the Democrat side. Like, why bother? The enthusiasm seems to be waning. It's pointless because Trump's going to win this state anyway. But the one thing, why I would say I wouldn't necessarily buy into any of that. Just look at the primary runoff. It was sort of a similar situation. And you just had more Democrats show up at a low turnout primary runoff. You had Dick Brubaker, Caroline Dobson in the Republican primary, and you had Anthony Daniels up y'all's way and Shamari Figures in the Democrat primary. You just had more Democrat voters show up for that primary.
It's interesting. Okay, let's talk about the garbage comment here for a second. In 2016, we were both doing talk radio, I believe, or at least you were still working with Breitbart, and you were doing a whole bunch of other things. But I think the basket of deplorable comment gave a lot of Republicans who were like, I don't like Trump, I'm not a big fan of this. I think it almost gave them permission to vote for Donald Trump. And then you had Donald Trump, 4 years of the Donald Trump show, and I think that motivated Democrats. Then you got 4 years of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and we're kind of swinging back the other way. Plus, you have the supporters are garbage stuff. It killed the Puerto Rico story, almost dead. Ricky Jams, whoever that is, did pull his endorsement. And I think that was the big news yesterday on MSNBC or earlier this week. But my question is this. Does that garbage comment have the same impact on people who are kind of looking for a reason to vote for Donald Trump as the basket of deplorables line did?
No, I think it's more of a tactical response. I think that the Democrats had I don't think that their playbook saying, hey, we're going to take this comedian's comments and take it all the way to the Electoral College victory. But they seemed to think that was going to work for them, and they had an offensive strategy. They were had all the talking points distributed out to all their favorite media outlets, which is all of them except for like Fox News and Newsmax or whatever. But when Biden does that, he sort of takes a page out of the playbook, wads it up, and throws it in the trash. And now they're having to play defense. I think that matters because they had their plan, they were executing it, and then the commander-in-chief derails that whole thing, and now they have to think of something different this late in the game.
But, Jeff, is it much ado about nothing? Does it have a real impact other than headlines and things to talk about?
Probably not. But it's like death by a thousand cuts that Dale talks about all the time. It's just one more cut, but they're not going to get to have that cut, so they got to think of another way to cut.
Fine, let's talk about things I talk about all the time. I've been saying for a while, if it's about Trump, he loses. If it's about Biden, he loses. I guess we could say if it's about the status quo, he loses. So is it about Trump or is it about the status quo?
It's status quo. I think Trump has played about as good a campaign as he could by not being too out there. He's doing the blocking and tackling. If it's the referendum on the status quo, this is going to break for Republicans. If it's personalities, that's a little harder. I still think Trump's got a shot because he's not great on the stump. But it seems to me that this race is headed toward like a referendum on the country.
Okay, last question here. Who did Joe Biden vote for?
Maybe he doesn't remember to vote that day. And,
no, he already voted. He already cast his ballot. He may not remember it. He'll probably try to go again. But the reason I ask that is I've been trying to figure this out. Is it a Jocktober surprise or is it an October surprise? Whichever one of these is. Who did Joe Biden vote for?
His family probably voted for Trump, and he probably voted for Harris.
Okay, there we go. Jeff Porro, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
FM Talk 106.5 down in Mobile. Thank you so much. 1819 News as well. Check them out. And Breitbart. Jeff is a very busy boy, so go check out all the stuff he's been up to. There's a lot of it there. As for us, Mecca's leaving. Show gets so much better. Party Shot coming up next right here on Alabama Politics This Week.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improve range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom, Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Here's an important message from the U.S. Med Diabetes Solutions Center. If you have diabetes, you know the pain of pricking your fingers. But now, by wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce your pain right away. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. Call the U.S. Med Diabetes Solutions Center to learn about this groundbreaking new CGM technology. If you have Medicare or private insurance, call to see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no cost. Shipping is free and will even bill your insurance company for you. U.S. Med is the #1 rated supplier on Google and Facebook reviews. So call us right now to see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no cost. U.S. Med. Better service. Better care.
What if you could make a free phone call and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Right now, you could be paying as high as 20% interest. Your new interest rate could be reduced to as low as 2.48%. You can refinance any existing car loan or leased car and save money every month. Take 5 minutes of your time right now. Make this free phone call and learn how to save hundreds of dollars a year by refinancing your existing car loan.
Well, welcome back to Alabama Politics. This week, I am Dale Jackson. Thank you very much for being here. We're about to jump into the parting shot where I'll tell you why Jimmy Kimmel and I should both probably be locked up. But before we do that, let me tell you about YellowHammerNews.com and my email blast, the 7 things you should be talking about today, and where every single day I'll tell you the 7 things you should be talking about that day. I've done all the work for you. All you do is read it, and you'll be well informed. That's YellowHammerNews.com. Right now, though, let's go ahead and get to that parting shot. My party shot this week is directed at Jimmy Kimmel and the people who are not making a big deal about something he did this week. I have a little bit of a history. If you Google Dale Jackson and voter fraud, there would be a couple of very interesting stories coming up. And I did the same thing Jimmy Kimmel did this week on the radio a couple years ago. I made a joke about how Republicans should vote on Tuesday and Democrats should vote on Wednesday. Jimmy Kimmel said that Democrats should vote early and Republicans should vote late. Now, do I think Jimmy Kimmel actually did anything wrong? No, absolutely not. I don't believe that. I think it was a joke, and it's, besides the fact that if you go back and watch it, it's not very funny because the way he delivers it is bad. The reality is he is making a joke, and he should be allowed to do so. No one's going to take it seriously. But I remember the Attorney General of this state, Troy King, a Republican Attorney General, threatening me with 33 years in jail for 4 charges, 2 felonies, 2 misdemeanors. Now, I beat him. He lost, and now he's an irrelevant nothing. But the reality is, over a joke, he got involved. The Justice Department, the federal Justice Department, got involved as well, pressured the company I work for to suspend me over what was clearly a joke. And right now, you hear nothing about it. Now, I'm going to make just an assumption here. If Greg Gutfeld on Fox News made a similar joke, only reverse the parties, there'd be calls for his firing and calls for Fox News to be sanctioned. Same thing with Jesse Waters or anyone else. The double standard's the problem. And this goes long back. It's not that I got in trouble and he didn't. He shouldn't have gotten in trouble, and neither should I. That's the problem here. The double standard is the issue here. And it shouldn't happen to me, and it shouldn't happen to him. But if it happened to me, shouldn't it happen to him? I don't know. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe it's not. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching Alabama Politics this week. We will be back next week, so stay tuned.